I fell in love with it and fell in love with the sound and all the artists attached to that sound and that time, and music just isn't like that anymore. Hey everyone, it's Stephen Sanchez and you're watching Billboard News.
Hey everybody, it's Ronnie on Nipdos with Billboard News, and I'm so excited. We're here with the ultimate crooner today, Stephen Sanchez. Whoop, 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 whoop. I mean, we gotta get to the beginning of it. Of course, people love you for your kind of 1950s style, fresh take on a throwback time that people missed. Have you always been into that?
Oh man, I grew up kind of surrounded by that music a little bit, but also there was a ton of self-discovery as well. I think more than anything, you know, the lyricism and the orchestral production of those songs, it makes you feel nostalgic even more so. I mean, probably back then that was the norm, right? Like, I don't think anyone was feeling nostalgia. I definitely feel like their love was soundtracked, you know, by that music. But I think now even more so there's this feeling of nostalgia.
Georgia, pulled me in, I asked you.
Well, that was super clear until I found you, because I think people are yearning for this old school type of love, you know, and a lot of people ended up using that song on TikTok to kind of romanticize the romance. I mean, how did it feel when you put a song like that out there, I guess, in your own way, experiencing that type of love and then seeing other people connect with it?
I mean, it was exciting, really. I mean, it's definitely like an out-of-body experience to hear your song everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's just the sign of the times, you know, you open your phone, you're able to kind of connect with the world immediately. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing for sure. But I think it's good when there are moments with songs like that feel they're universal and there's a connectivity across, you know, just everybody's individual lives and their stories, and they can all come into agreement on one thing, which I feel like the way the world is right now, it's kind of just divided and things are kind of falling apart in some sort of way. And so I feel like people are looking for a hero in a lot of ways, whether that be through music and lyricism and the melodies and how they connect people to each other, or, you know, just art in itself and the visuals of everything. But I feel like Until I Found You has been really special because it kind of came at a really perfect and interesting time where, like, music just isn't like that anymore, and lyrics just aren't like that anymore. And yeah, it feels like a cool hand raise from that time, that music is still cool and like it has a life and a breath, you know?
Yeah.
So it's good.
You were using, I guess, social media to spread a beautiful positive message, and I think a lot of people have become kind of jaded to social media and its toxicity. It was cool to see you kind of have this little beam of light, like, love exists, look how special this moment is, you know, that you can find. And then, of course, you built on that success with your debut album, Angel Face, and now you have the deluxe version.
Club Deluxe.
So tell me about, like, picking 5 more songs to go on the album. What was the thought process behind that?
Interesting. It wasn't really tremendously thought out in the sense that, like, it was pre-planned. Yeah, I think these songs kind of existed in the creation of the record, and I think they weren't raising their hands just yet. And then I think when the story was complete with, you know, the Troubadour and Evangeline and Hunter and that whole triangle of tragedy, and that story was told, we were able to kind of add in songs that maybe didn't make the record the first time around.
Angel face, little taste of you.
Songs that still match the sentiments of ones that exist on the new record. Songs like The Other Side, you know, feel like they go hand in hand with High, and This Thing Called Love goes hand in hand with Something About Her, and, you know, Emotional Vacation is like, well, that's kind of Black Sheep, that one, but you know, or Fame or Fortune kind of wraps up and sums up the whole thing, you know, for me personally anyway. Like, you know, the Troubadour wanted to leave behind all the fame and the fortune to fall in love, and I feel like that's always been really important to me, is like prioritizing what's actually important. Yeah, so I feel like when it came to picking the songs, I think it was just like what feels true and honest with myself as an artist, but also what feels true and honest with these characters and their stories and their the fictional lens that they're seeing this story through. And yeah, it's really sweet to have it out now.
Yeah, and it's so fun and creative with this whole Troubadour storyline. I mean, how did you even think to do that? Like, what was the inspiration behind adding like a fictional element to the whole thing?
Not sure. Yeah, there's a lot of 50s and 60s stories. I mean, there's like gunslingers and spaghetti western stuff, you know, from Marty Robbins, who's telling stories of, you know, Felita and the cowboy that, you know, was gunned down because he shot somebody over her, you know, and it's just interesting stuff like that that really stuck out to me, because there's not a lot of that showing up either. There's not a lot of storytelling, I think, happening anymore, and I really like looking at records now through the lens of a storyteller, even if they're true stories but told through like a fictional character, which is great. And so I think there's elements of, you know, my life showing up in this record.
Do you feel pigeonholed at all, that you've put yourself kind of in this like retro crooner with a fresh take? Like, do you feel like maybe moving on to another record that you have to stay in that lane, or do you feel comfortable branching out as well? Yeah. Or is that just your passion?
No, I don't feel pressure. I think things are cool because they don't last forever. You know, things are beautiful because they'll last forever. And, you know, Angel Face and this sound and this record end here. You know, it's done here because it's gonna be forever cool because it ended. You know, and I always want to look at making records from like a screenplay writer, like directorial position, to write characters and write new stories. Tell it through different lens, through different sound, and yeah, it'd be a bummer to get stuck in like one thing, you know. And there's artists I admire a lot, like Lord Huron. He goes from, you know, doing the singer-songwriter, like adventurous feeling anthematic record to a long lost, you know, cowboy in the desert, you know, trying to find his way through like strange lands, and I really admire that. And so I think there's elements of different artistry that, you know, they kind of are daring, which I admire a lot. So yeah, probably we'll just keep making whatever. Yeah,
I mean, separately, it seems like movie making is also on the horizon.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, creativity is crazy. I love that. And of course, we have to talk about the Beach Boys documentary. You were just at the premiere. I mean, baby blue bathing suit. Tell me about when you got the call to make a song for a documentary like this about such an iconic group.
I was in London playing a show, and it's funny, prior to that, like weeks before, John Stamos, months before, came to our show in LA.
So cool.
And John Stamos plays with the Beach Boys, and then weeks after that show that we played in LA, he sends me a video of him and Mike Love listening to my record, and
crazy.
And then we're in London, you know, and that's I get that video and I'm watching that and I'm like, that's crazy. Like that's a Beach Boy listening to my song, you know,
yeah.
And he thinks it's good, which is so kind. And then we get this email while I'm in London, and it goes like, "Oh, would Steven be interested in being a part of this Beach Boys documentary?" We're like, "Oh, sure, like yeah, like would he be interested in singing a song being written for this Beach Boys documentary?" It's like, yeah, who are we doing it with? And it's like, oh, Dan Nigro and Amy Allen. I'm like, great, let's do that. And so we did, and we got into the studio at Abbey Road, which is amazing because, you know, the rivalry between the Beach Boys and the Beatles. And it felt like a bunch of full circle, beautiful moments. And I felt like I got more connected and fell more in love with the band too, because I got to learn so much about who they are as artists and how they worked. And then working with Dan and Amy, who are such pros, was such a tremendous honor too, and that was amazing. It was real cool, and now we're gonna be on a 7-inch record with them. Good Vibrations on one side and Baby Blue Bathing Suit on the other. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, my suntan girl with the freckles and curls looks good when she swims in the water.
The song is so cool because it's so you, but it also fits so well with like a Beach Boys documentary. How did you, Dan, and Amy kind of blend those two things in the writing sessions?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just something that kind of felt pretty natural. I think, you know, they had the idea for the melody and everything, and then we kind of edited lyrics here and there, but no, it was really just Dan Nigro's incredible producing that enabled that song to take some flight, and yeah, it was cool. It was cool to just like come in and be a part of it, then for like it to be, you know, oh, this is all my thing, and I'm constructing the song the way I want it, the way it's cool to be more collaborative and just kind of let somebody construct it, and then I get to be a part of that. And so that was really great.
I mean, speaking of icons too, Priscilla Presley herself saw a video of you and like gave it her stamp of approval.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Obviously, I mean, I think a lot of people look at you and you're like, okay, well, great, we have a new Elvis. Finally, we have a new crooner in town.
That's so nice.
How did it feel to have Priscilla look at your video? First of all, see your video and also love it.
Oh, man, my buddy Connor, who shoots Connor Peterson, who shoots photos for us on tour. He's like the biggest hype man ever, and so usually when something crazy happens, he'll be the first one to come and be like, did you see that? Like, did you see this? And I remember I saw it first. I just kind of sat there looking at it. We're on the tour bus, and he opens the door to the back lounge and he goes, he just flips his phone around. I'm like, dude, I know. Like, oh my gosh. And we also, it's just a testament that we have the best fans in the whole world, because, you know, it's because of a fan, you know, loving our music, that they met Priscilla Presley, were like, yo, you should check out this dude. And no, it's amazing. It's like a tremendous gift to be approved by so many icons like Elton John and the Beach Boys and Priscilla Presley, and you know, it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, you have these like back-to-back moments that if I were in your position, I'd be like, this isn't real. Like this, there's no way any of this is happening to me. I mean, how do you stay present and grounded as you navigate this just insane year that you've had?
Oh, just faith. I think faith is a really important thing to me. And I think I just recognize I'm not the hero. I'm not like the most important thing. And also it's super unnatural to receive praise at the magnitude in which artists do, and glorification and, you know, accolades for the things that they accomplish. Cause it's like, how do you take credit for something that feels like beyond what like you're actually capable of doing on your own? I don't know, it just helps me remind me that like there are more important things in like how big you can become, and how much money you can make, and how many numbers you can gain, you know, and yeah, I don't know. So I think that's a really important thing to me.
Yeah, it also spoke to me, like when you said earlier that everything's temporary, everything passes, and I feel like that, at least in my experience, allows you to stay present in the moment as you navigate these things, because you're like, I'm living this right now. I need to enjoy it while it's here.
For sure. There's like an incredible gratitude with that. Definitely, which is nice to feel as well, like knowing that you've been given something for a short time, you get to do as much as you can with it, and then it just goes away at some point, which is awesome.
Well, with your trajectory, I don't think it's a short amount of time. I think you've got a long career.
Thank you very much.
And moving forward, you have a string of really cool festival dates this summer that you're embarking on. I mean, for someone who hasn't been to a Stephen Sanchez show, what can they expect?
Oh man, it's so funny. I feel like folks who've listened to our records and stuff don't expect it to be as big and loud as it is, but it's just like the new record, but like times 10 adrenaline. Like it's just like it's a good time, and there's a lot of shaking, lots of moves on stage, lots of moments, and I think it'll be really exciting. We're on a fall tour.
Love it.
It's gonna be exciting, and I hope to see everybody out there so they can come catch a show.
Is there a song that maybe on the Deluxe album that you're excited to see the reaction live?
Yeah, The Other Side has been a fun one that we've been playing, but also songs like Fame or Fortune. I mean, it's just amazing that, I mean, there are these moments during shows where like no one is making a single noise, and it's usually during Fame or Fortune, and it's like, I'm excited to just have more moments like that, because I feel like I really have them in that moment, and it's exciting. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's cool that you just have these fans that are so connected to you and your message and your story that they're willing to go along for the ride. You know, the serious moments are quiet and the ruckus moments are exciting, and you know, they kind of just go along with you, and I think that's so great.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, I mean, thank you so much, Stephen. This is wonderful. I'm so happy for your success, and good luck for the future.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
Yeah.